Okay, so today we're going to talk about slope-intercept form of the equation of a line. Now notice, it says slope-intercept form. When you think about that, what this means is this means equation of a line. Because some people will say, well, slope-intercept form, what is that? Well, it's nothing more than the equation for a line. And so what you need to do is you need to remember that y equals mx plus b. That will follow you all the way through high school. Y equals mx plus b. File that away to memory. Now a little bit about that. If you notice, I have the m in blue because the m is the slope. That's a pretty important thing. We talked a little bit about slope last chapter. We're going to talk a lot about it this chapter. B is the y-intercept. So that's basically where a graph crosses the y-axis. And we talked a little bit about intercepts last chapter. We're going to talk a lot more about the y-intercept this chapter. So the y-intercept, once again, is where the graph crosses the y-axis. So now what we're going to do is we're going to start by writing equations only. And then we're going to go to graphing, and then we're going to go to identifying. And so let's go ahead and look at the very first one. Okay, the very first one says write an equation. Yeah, technical difficulties. There we go. Write an equation in slope-intercept form. Okay, so I'm going to put an m in there. I left out that m. For the line with a slope of 3 and a y-intercept of -2. So, slope-intercept form, if you remember, y equals mx plus b. So now all I'm going to do is substitute in what I know. I know that the slope is 3 and the y-intercept is -2. So my equation will be y equals 3x plus -2. That is one way that you could write that. Another way you could write that is y equals what? 3x minus 2. Now either of those is acceptable. Doesn't matter which one you answer. Okay? Whatever one you want. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at the next one. Write an equation in slope-intercept form for the line with a slope of -2 and a y-intercept of 5. So I need you to go ahead and, there we go. Need you to go ahead and answer that for me.
Number 14.
So go ahead and use your expressions and answer that.
I have a number 9. It's either I'm 12 or you're number 9. I'm number 1, obviously.
Okay. Let's go ahead and.
You just got blacked out. How do you feel now?
Oh, there we go. And then the answer is D. So let's go ahead and look at that. Okay, D, -2x plus 5. So notice the other answer was B, which was 2x minus 5. And so hopefully you can see the difference. The slope is -2, and the y-intercept is 5. So that's why the answer is D. Okay, so, all right, so let's go ahead and look at this next one. Okay, write the equation in slope-intercept form for the line with a slope of 3/4 and a y-intercept of -1.
I'm going.
Okay, good. I'm number 9.
31's a cool one.
So the answer is 3/4 x minus 1, letter C. Nice job. Okay? Alrighty, so let's go ahead and look at now. Remember I said we were going to graph as well. So now we're going to graph. Now before we had graphed by using intercepts and a t-chart. Now what we're going to do is we're going to graph using slope-intercept form. So what I need to do is put this in the form y equals mx plus b. So that means I need to get the y all by itself. So first thing, to get the y all by itself, I'm going to go ahead and add 2x to both sides. So when I add 2x to both sides,
5y equals 10 plus 2.
I get 5y equals 2x plus 10. And I'm going to go ahead and write the x first just because that was slope-intercept form. So then now I need to solve for y. So what am I going to do? Divide by 5. Good. So I'm going to divide each term through by a 5. And so when I do that, I get y to equal 2/5 x plus 2. So let's identify what we know. We know that the slope is 2/5. I know that the y-intercept is 2. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and graph a y-intercept of 2. So what that means is I go to the y-axis. Which one is the y?
Up and down.
The up and down. I'm going to graph a dot at 2. So that means from the origin I'm going to do what?
Go up 2.
Go up 2. Now what I need to do is graph a slope of 2/5. So let's review what slope means. What is slope?
It's
The rise.
The rise
over
over the run. Nice job. And so this means I have a rise of 2. So that means from this orange point I'm going to do what?
Go over to
Up 2. It means I have a run of 5, which means you do what? Over 5. There you go.
That's great.
And so all I need to do now is connect those dots, and that is how you graph the line. So it doesn't take quite as long as it does with a table. So let's go ahead and look at another one. Graph 3x minus 4y equals 12. So first thing I'm going to do is solve for y. So what am I going to do first? Subtract 3x. Good. So I end up getting negative 4y equals negative 3x plus 12. What do you do now?
Divide by negative 4.
Divide by negative 4. And you're going to divide everything through by a negative 4. So I end up getting y to equal 3/4 x plus negative 3. So once again, what's the slope? 3/4. Okay. What's the y-intercept?
Negative 3.
Negative 3. So that means I'm going to do what first?
Go down.
Go down.
Go down 3. Good. And then what am I going to do?
Up
Go up 3 over 4.
Yep, up 3 over 4. Last but not least, I need to go ahead and draw a line through it. And there you go. Questions? Now, are they all going to be like that?
Hopefully.
No. Now it says to graph x equals 5. And so x equals 5, what I'm going to do is first of all, this isn't going to be a diagonal line. Okay? And so I'm going to start here at the origin. And I'm going to go to where x equals 5. So where do I go from the origin? 5 to the right. And I will tell you right now that whenever you get an x equals or y equals, it's going to be a horizontal or a vertical line. So I need to decide, is this a horizontal line
Yes.
or is this
No.
a vertical line?
Vertical.
So this is the question. Let's go to the purple line. At this point, what does x equal?
4.
4. Does that equal 5?
No.
No. So let's go, obviously, the purple line doesn't work, so let's look at the blue line. Okay, at the blue line, does x equal 5 right here?
Yes.
Yeah. Does x
Yes.
equal 5 right here?
Yep.
5 here?
Yep.
Yeah, so x always equals 5. So when you have x equals, you will always get a vertical line. So let's look at another one. The next one says 2y equals 4. So in order to solve this, I need to get y by itself. So what are you going to do?
Divide by 2.
Divide by 2. So I end up getting y to equal 2. So from the origin, what do I do?
Go up 2.
Go up 2. Okay, and so then, is it going to be a horizontal
Yes.
or a vertical line?
Horizontal.
It's going to be a horizontal line. Does y equal 2 here?
Yep.
Here?
Yep.
Okay, so there you go.
If you have a fraction, do you just go to the fraction on the graph?
Yep, yep. Okay, and so last but not least, these are 3 problems. Which of the following is an equation in slope-intercept form for the line shown? First thing you're going to look at is the y-intercept. Then you're going to look at the slope. So I need you to go ahead and see which of the following is an equation in slope-intercept form. The answer is C. Now, let's double check and see what C is. Negative 1/3 x plus 1. So obviously, from looking right away, you see that the y-intercept is 1. So that means these are out. Now what we need to do is determine the slope. So to determine the slope, I'm going to pick the next point it goes through. And if you notice here, I go down 1, and then I go over 3. So it should be negative 1/3 x plus 1. Okay, let's try it again. Which one is that one going to be? And the answer is A. Nice job. Okay, the slope there is 1/4. The y-intercept is negative 1. Assignment for tomorrow. Pages 220 through 221, 18 through 50, the evens. You might need graph paper, okay, to graph, and if you do, it's in the top drawer.